So, there's this one thing that some people do. It's like they talk and their signal keeps dropping. Like they start talking and you hear them, and then all of a sudden it's like there's nothing there, and then back and forth, back and forth. But they keep talking, and they don't even know that they're doing it. I saw this person in traffic the other day. They were just driving along. Their signal was fine, everything was good, and they started to make a turn. And as they made that turn, it was like their signal got scrambled. So now they're sitting there at the light, stopped in traffic, and they're sitting there with no signal. And you can see that they're frustrated because they're looking around like, what's going on? But they didn't change anything. They didn't change their phone. There was no reason for their signal to drop. The only thing that changed was that they moved into a different area, a different location. But they don't know that. They just think that, well, something must be wrong with my phone. Because if they didn't change anything, there's nothing wrong with their phone. So they start hitting the phone, trying to get it to come back. Sometimes when you do that, it brings it back. Sometimes it doesn't. But ultimately, they finally just gave up, and they kept driving along without service, which is really weird. We live in an age where we have phones and we have service almost everywhere. Even if you go out into the wilderness, sometimes you can find a place to get a signal. So why would you drive along without service? That doesn't make any sense. But they did it. And the craziest part about that is that that person is not alone. There are plenty of people who will drive along without service. In fact, there are plenty of people who will drive along without service because they think that they need to stay connected. They think that they need to keep trying to connect because that's how you solve the problem. You just keep trying to connect. But the reality is that if you disconnect and you reconnect, sometimes that helps you reconnect faster. But then there's other times when you want to reconnect but you don't know how to fix it. This happened to me recently. I went to a public place and I just couldn't get a connection. I was just struggling to get a connection. And every time that I tried to get a connection, it was like it was getting worse. Now, I knew that I could walk outside and probably get a connection. I could probably walk outside and text somebody or whatever, but I had been inside for so long that I kind of forgot how to do that. It was kind of weird, but I walked outside and I got a connection, and I realized that, man, it feels good to get a connection sometimes. You forget how to do that. But I remember back in the day when we had landlines, right? We had these rotary phones. My grandma still has a rotary phone, but back in the day, if your phone line was dead, you call up the phone company and they would come out and they would work on it. But sometimes they couldn't fix it right away. So what did you do if your phone line was dead? You waited until it came back. And the reason that you waited until it came back is because you understood that the best thing for you to do was to wait until it came back. It wasn't the best thing for you to do to keep trying to dial out and just keep trying to make calls that aren't going to go anywhere. We live in an age where we have so many devices. We have so many things going on. We have so much stuff to try to keep track of that we forget that sometimes the best thing to do is to disconnect and then reconnect. Disconnecting and then reconnecting gives us a chance to reset everything, gives us a chance to clear our heads. One of the reasons why people talk like their signal is dropping is because they're trying too hard to be connected. They're trying too hard to make sure that everything is perfect, and they're trying too hard to make sure that everything comes across the way that they want it to. The thing is, sometimes the best thing that you can do is to just chill out, relax, and let things happen naturally. If you try too hard to be connected, if you try too hard to say the perfect thing, if you try too hard to make sure that everything is in order, it's like you're forcing things to happen, and sometimes things don't happen the way that you want them to. But if you chill out, if you relax and you just let things take their natural course, sometimes things work out better. And that's why some people talk like their signal is dropping, because they're trying too hard to connect. They're trying too hard to get it right. But sometimes the best thing that you can do is to just disconnect and then reconnect. Now, when you disconnect and reconnect, you might not always reconnect the way that you want to. Sometimes you might feel more tired than you want to. Sometimes you might feel more grumpy than you want to. Sometimes you might feel like you're not connected at all. But those are the times where you need to give yourself grace. Those are the times where you need to understand that it's okay to not be okay. Sometimes when you disconnect and you reconnect, you don't always get the strongest signal. Sometimes it's a weak signal, and that's okay. That means that you need to give yourself some time, that you need to give yourself some space, that you need to give yourself some love and care. The truth is that we don't always talk like our signal is dropping. Sometimes we talk like our signal is weak. And weak is different than dropping because dropping means that you're in and out. It means that you're connected and then you're not connected and then you're connected and then you're not connected. But when your signal is weak, you're connected. But it's just a weak connection. You're there, but it's just a weak connection. And that's okay. We need to give ourselves grace when our signal is weak. We need to give ourselves love and care when our signal is weak because sometimes we just need to recharge. We just need to take a minute and catch our breath. Some people talk like their signal is dropping when really their signal is just weak. And that's okay. That's okay to be weak sometimes. We don't have to be strong all the time. It's okay to be weak sometimes. It's okay to have a weak signal sometimes. There's a lot of pressure in our society today to be strong all the time, to be tough all the time, to be connected all the time. And we can't be that way. That's not human. There are times where it's okay to have a weak signal. The next time you notice that someone's signal is dropping, pay attention to what they're saying. Are they saying something that's really heavy? Are they saying something that's really intense? Are they saying something that's really deep? Because maybe they're pushing themselves too hard and maybe they need to take a step back and just relax. Maybe they need to give themselves some space to breathe. You know, sometimes when we're talking to people and their signal starts to drop, we try to help them. We try to tell them, hey, you lost your connection there for a second. Are you okay? What's going on? But sometimes the best thing that we can do is to just listen. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is to just let them talk and let them express themselves because that's how they're going to connect back to themselves. That's how they're going to find their signal again. When you talk like your signal is dropping, you're disconnected, but you're trying to connect. When you talk like your signal is weak, you're connected, but you're not trying as hard. And sometimes that's okay. It's okay to not try as hard sometimes. It's okay to not be strong all the time. It's okay to have a weak signal sometimes. It's okay to have moments where you're just not sure what's going on, moments where you're just not sure how to feel, moments where you're just not sure what to say. Those are the moments where you need to give yourself grace. Those are the moments where you need to give yourself love and care. Those are the moments where you need to stop trying to be connected and just be.